tears? Why tears? Hey guys, it's Sarah. Welcome back to my channel. Today, what I really wanted to talk about was the difficult decisions that you might have to make with writing. I don't mean difficult decisions like plot or structure or characters or anything like that. I'm talking more about once you've written the end and you get to the next stage of writing, which is your revisions, and how difficult it is and what people don't tell you and things that you don't expect to happen while you're revising your drafts. I make this video with 2 days left until I end my May writing break and head into rewriting my main work in progress for what is going to be the 4th minor and 2nd major time. So, God. Okay, a bit of backstory. In 2015, actual backstory. So, my main work in progress at the moment is a YA urban fantasy called Nephilim. It is the first in a planned series. It still is a planned series, except I've been trying to make the first novel seem a bit more standalone, mostly for querying and publishing reasons. And I can't tell you when I started writing it. I have absolutely no idea when I started writing it. All I do know is that I sat on the first 8 chapters for maybe at least a year, at least a good year, because back then I was writing quality, not quantity. And then in 2015 I took part in NaNoWriMo for the very first time and won and managed to finish writing Nephilim, which I was really happy about. Nephilim is the first novel that I was serious about. This was the one. This was the novel that was going to get me published. And you know, you might be like that with your first ever written novel, you might not, but somewhere along the line you're going to get that novel which is as your baby. You think this is the one that is going to get me where I want to be, and that's a great feeling to have. Don't ever lose that feeling, but it's difficult to maintain that feeling. 4 years and 3-4 drafts later, Nephilim is still not finished, and I am heading into now my 2nd major rewrite of the book. This isn't revision, this isn't tweaking sentences and moving scenes around and getting rid of the boring bits. This is cutting a good chunk of the novel, throwing it away, and not throwing it away. Never throw away your stuff, always save it for later, but moving it from the novel and replacing it with something new and something different. The cons of a NaNoWriMo novel, I guess, especially one that you haven't outlined. The thing is, I've always believed myself to be really good with plot. World building and characters and setting, those were my weak points, but plot was the one thing I was good at. I had tons of ideas. I always have tons of ideas. I can talk myself out of any plot hole. I can create the subtlest elements of foreshadowing, mostly by accident. How could I go wrong with plot? But yeah, I did majorly go wrong with the plot, and at the time, me being the amateur writer that I was, I couldn't see it. I didn't see it until someone pointed it out to me. The story went through beta. I changed the ending because the ending wasn't a terrible ending, but it did not fit in with the rest of the novel as a whole. So I changed the ending. I cut 100 pages off the end. I rewrote an entire new ending plus an extra 10,000 words, and it made a little more sense, but it still wasn't right. And then for the longest time, I couldn't figure out what was wrong. I knew something was wrong. There's always been something in Nephilim that didn't sit right, that didn't feel right. And the problem with beta readers, while they are a fantastic resource to use, and I highly, highly recommend using them, they are first and foremost, I guess, readers. And when you revise, you do your own personal revision of what you think is wrong and what you think needs changing, and then you will revise based off of what you feel, and then you revise again based off the comments from your beta readers. So if there's a major issue in your novel and you don't spot it, and your beta readers don't spot it, that major issue is not going to get fixed. And I went through this massive stage of where I was rewriting everything and it wasn't working, and I was like, am I writing this worse than I had it before? Was it better before I started revising it? 50 beta readers and 4 drafts. They were great at picking out surface things. I had the first major revision with the ending, and then I had several other people point out things like the characters need more development, we need more time with the characters, we need more setting, we need less explanation, we need less repetitiveness, and all of those things got fixed. And yet the beta readers couldn't really figure out what it was, and they were like, it's okay, but these surface things. But I was like, there's something else does not sit right with me about this novel. And I was all ready to go, right, I'm going to have to budget and save up my money and hire an editor or someone professional to look at this for me and tell me what was wrong, until an angel descended from the heavens in the form of a beta reader and found the problem. And I have never been more happier to be part of Tumblr. That's right, I'm on Tumblr. This is where I found my beta reader. I absolutely love her. She figured out the problem, and I'm happy and sad that she did. Everything that needed to change with my plot, the moments that were holding it back, were the moments that I was clinging to. The very first plot twist that I came up with and absolutely loved, that specific moment where we meet this specific character, that awesome way I was subverting the cliche YA tropes, that is what was wrong. This wasn't an issue such as this plot point needs tweaking and then you're fine. This was, this plot point needs tweaking, but tweaking that plot point will also change this character arc. It will change this plot point, it will change that pacing, it will change this structure. Changing this all-important plot point, this one plot point that I've been clinging to since I first wrote this book, was going to change everything. It was going to completely change the story that I was trying to tell. Which leads me to today. Busy replotting my entire novel, busy planning to restart from basically the very beginning again. This is going to completely change everything about this novel. It's going to darken the tone, which isn't a bad thing really. It's going to completely readjust the structure, it's going to completely readjust the pacing, it's going to readjust completely the character arcs, and most importantly, it's going to change the heart of the story. It's a really difficult pill to swallow, being told that the only way to save your novel is to, and improve your book, is to completely rewrite it. Like, what I had done and what I had written was not good enough, and it was not right. And I don't know why I'm starting to cry. What the hell is wrong with me? Jesus Christ. So yeah, it's going to be completely different to the story that I've been working on since 2015. the story that I've grown comfortable with and I've grown used to is going to completely change. And I'm struggling to tell myself it's a good thing. It is a good thing, because clearly the vision I had for the book was the right vision, but I wasn't telling it in the right way, and this I think will help me tell it in the right way. But it's not going to be the book that I fell in love with, and I'm really worried that changing it is going to make me not be in love with it anymore. But at the same time, I'm really excited that I'm going to be able to fall in love over again, and it's a bunch of mixed feelings, and the different ones come and go. That self-doubt that I'm not going to be able to pull this off, the excitement that I get to, you know, really do the story justice, and it's such a clash of different emotions that I'm really struggling to quite understand what I feel about it, like what I really feel about it. It's something I think every writer has to go through, that moment of clarity where you realise that your book is not as good as you thought it was. That sounds like a really bad thing to say, but it's really humbling in a sort of way, I guess. Take away that feeling that you are not good enough, and you're just left with this warm determination. You love your book, you do anything for it. We writers spend months, years writing the books and falling in love with the plot and falling in love with the characters, and they're our babies, and you know, we would do anything to have our babies be the best that they could possibly be, even completely tear it down and start again. Sometimes I think writers become so invested in their work, so in love with certain aspects, that we fail to even consider their effect on the plot as a whole. That can't be the problem, we cry, because it's always been like that. That, fellow writers, is the problem. It's always been the problem. It's just taken a while to root it out. If there's one thing that you need to prepare for, if there's one thing you need to realise and understand as a writer, is that you shouldn't grow attached. Not unless you're strong enough to let go. Kill your darlings, everyone, except that just doesn't mean your characters. It means tearing apart all the hours of hard work, plotting, thinking and typing and stressing and spitting out that mouthful of tea you just took because it's grown cold while you've been busy working. It means letting go of that favourite line and that entire chapter and that subplot that you thought was cool, but in reality it's really not. It means having the strength and determination and love. Why am I crying again? To do... Oh my lord, I'm terrible. It means having the strength and determination and love to do what is best for your novel. To help it become the amazing piece of work that you know it can be. Has starting again made me a better writer? I don't know. That remains to be seen. But it has made me a more knowledgeable writer. A stronger writer, and I'm thankful for it. Thank you so much for listening to me ramble and cry. I don't know why I'm crying. That's what happens when I talk about stuff out loud, I guess. It actually is affecting me more than I thought it was. But yeah, thank you so much for letting me ramble, and I don't know, good thoughts and happy writing, everyone. I'll see you in the next video.